Congress is already working on the budget for the next fiscal year, and it could come with massive cuts to the Environmental Protection Agency. News Center Maine's Raya Wooten shows us why public health advocates and conservation groups in Maine believe these cuts would hurt the environment and the health of Maine people.
The Environmental Protection Agency's ability to protect environments and people living in them is on the line.
The U.S. House's proposed FY26 budget targets the EPA for some of the deepest cuts of any domestic agency.
That's what Anya Fletcher from Natural Resources Council of Maine and others say they fear as House representatives in Washington propose cutting the EPA's budget by $2.1 billion and scaling back the agency's workforce. Fletcher says this 23% cut could decrease funding for Maine Department of Environmental Protection and roll back necessary environmental funding.
Maine's lakes and other surface waters will be more polluted. Communities with brownfield and Superfund sites, including one in my own town of Westbrook, may never see them cleaned up, and communities could see higher rates of illness linked to poor air and water quality.
Without proper funding from the EPA, organizations like Seven Lakes Alliance will also struggle to support communities finishing environmental protection projects.
Last year, we helped the town of Mount Vernon with their Cottle Hill road crossings.
You see these huge 5-foot culverts? Well, they weren't here a year ago. There were smaller culverts in its place. And every time it rained, this stream would flood and wash tons of gravel into the wetland.
And then the town would have to pay thousands of dollars to put more gravel down, compact the road, and then the next big storm would get washed out again.
Much of that work was paid for by Section 319 funds allocated by the EPA. Those here say huge losses in EPA funding and workforce would make it that much harder for the agency to regulate and develop protection policies and further fund projects that are meant to improve environments and aspects of public health. In Mount Vernon, Raya Wooten, News Center, Maine.
Senator Susan Collins is leading efforts in the Senate to prevent the large cuts that are being proposed in the House. The Senate's Appropriations Committee is only proposing a 5% cut to the EPA.